Today is unusual because I come to you under these floodlights because I have had to do this show at night. I didn't do this show in the morning because we were all expecting Deputy President William Ruto to name his running mate. And that certainly was going to be the news of the day. And you wouldn't be talking about anything else. And that's why we have delayed this far. As we approach towards 7:30, the announcement that was meant to have been made around 10 is yet to be made. Before I talk about what I want to talk about today, let me try and talk about why he may not have done so yet. Many of my viewers and subscribers are asking us to look at this thing and say, why? So in my thinking, there can be a very big reason why. In my thinking, William Samoei Ruto has not named his running mate because these things are not as simple as he thought. Matters government are not simple. You can't criticize the president. You can't criticize seasoned politicians like Raila Odinga. But when the time comes for you to move, you realize how difficult it is. Now it proves more than ever before that as they were criticizing Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta for following positions, this shows even it's about positions. That wale jamaa wanataka madaraka ya viongozi. Recently we have seen a power sharing deal in which they are saying so and so will get so much, somebody will get ministries, ambassador positions, so and so will be a prime minister by executive order. You rubbished BBI because there were going to be positions of prime minister, now they are. This shows you how difficult the art of government is, and that the contradiction, the hypocrisy is coming out. They say for them, naming a deputy president will not be a problem because theirs is not about power. Then I also laughed. Why would you want to be president if it's not about power? People want the leadership to get power, not in a negative way. No, you need power to make certain changes. You need power to do certain things. If you have a vision for your country as William Ruto, you need power. Because outside power, you cannot effect the good things you have about your country and for your country. And then you cannot talk about sharing of power and giving positions and say you do not think it is necessary. Because then you don't understand the politics and you don't understand power. You get power because people help you to get that power. Number one, you can't get it alone, anywhere. Even a king in a clearly structured hereditary arrangement, you need people to ensure when your time comes, you'll get that power. You've read all this in history. And the positions are necessary because you cannot exercise that power without the help of others. Power, you fight for it. You can't go to war alone. Power, you protect it when you have it. The people you give those positions you think are not necessary, you need those people to protect your power. Because if you do not protect the power, you lose the power. And when you lose the power, then you can't even do those good things you meant to do. If you have the good things you want to do for a country, you need to fight for power. You can't do it alone. Once you get to power, you need to protect that power. You need to sustain yourself in power. That you do through positions. So political science 101 should be sufficient to guide Kenya Kwanza, William Ruto and the rest, that there's nothing wrong about saying we will form government with other people, and in the process, so and so may get this, so and so may. It's quite normal. Now to the topic of the day. And it is about defections. There have been a number of what you could call high-profile defections. Governor Mtua from Machakos defected from Azimio to Kenya Kwanza. Governor Amason Kingi defected from PA, whatever, PA something, again to Kenya Kwanza. There was a lot of celebration. And everybody seems to think Azimio was going down. I noticed two things that I want to share with my viewers today. Number one, when you think the defections are so good, you profile them. You use that as a measure of the success of Kenya Kwanza, William Ruto and UDA. You use the defections to show that the other side has collapsed. You forget one thing, that this is not the end of defections. That there are going to be more defections. And that may not always be in your favor. So if you have glorified defections, if you have shown that Raila is finished because of these defections, tell me what happens when major players defect from your side to Raila's side. That may as well happen. Because you have already glorified, because you have already said the two major defections spell doom for Raila. Azimio is gone. What happens when three major players, 2, 3, 4 major players defect from UDA to Azimio, from Kenya Kwanza to Azimio? What will you say? Secondly, and more importantly, the defections should not be celebrated by William Samoei Ruto. And this is the reason. Mount Kenya people, they are so crucial. Mount Kenya is so crucial to William Ruto. Indeed, if Mount Kenya were to leave William Ruto, his campaign will be called off. It will collapse. Because the major players in Kenya Kwanza or UDA are not the Kalenjin. It is the Mount Kenya community. They own more than 3/4 of UDA. They supported William Ruto with the understanding they were the only players in UDA, that the Ruto government will be their government. Indeed, in a very crude way, perhaps under the table or behind the tent, they will be discussing and saying, this is going to be our government. We will get everything we want because it cannot survive. He cannot get to power without us. He cannot survive without us. He cannot maintain himself in power because he will even impeach him. And therefore, this is our government. That is why the Mount Kenya was strongly in UDA. Now, when many people are leaving to other sides and joining UDA, the place is becoming crowded. This is a point the Kenya Kwanza is not saying. This is a point William Samoei Ruto is not saying. It's the point UDA is not saying. The people of Mount Kenya are beginning to have second thoughts that we thought we were the controlling members of this club. Now the club has been diluted. Now we are no longer in control. They can now think otherwise. So don't celebrate their defections because the table is getting overcrowded. And that means the Kikuyu, the other fellows from Mount Kenya, can begin thinking. And it becomes much easier for Raila and Uhuru to attack the mountain for votes. So they didn't see that. But finally, Ruto has fallen into the trap set for him. And other Kenyans are falling that trap. By hammering at Uhuru Kenyatta as the president, and by overcrowding UDA, you are pushing the Luo and the Kikuyu closer and closer. That must be the game. That you play in the manner in which Raila and Uhuru are playing, and a couple of fellows move into UDA. or Kenya Kwanza. And then in the continuous onslaught on Uhuru Kenyatta means the people of the mountain will begin to get closer to Uhuru Kenyatta. They will begin getting closer to Raila Odinga. And the unintended from one side, and very much by design from the Uhuru Raila side, is to bring the Luo and the Kikuyu together. And once you have that, that is unbeatable. Many of the people have not seen that angle. By pushing these two communities together through a series of utterances and actions, including defections and attacks on Uhuru Kenyatta, the communities are getting together. And that is the trap William Ruto is not seeing. And once you have put these communities together, for a long time, for a little while into the future, they will have this game under the control. The Luos will never forget the role played by Uhuru Kenyatta and the Gema community into helping Raila get power. They will never forget for a long time. And for that reason, these communities will be together. It will be good for the country, actually. Why? It will be good for the country because when these two are together, there is peace in the country. Not only do they win, but there is peace in the country. I stand for peace. So anything that can bring peace, I support.